Hey, how's it going? Okay, so it's been 6 months with the Insta360 Ace Pro, and I've got some thoughts. Real thoughts, not the honeymoon phase rose-tinted glasses stuff you get from first impressions. You know how it goes. Everything feels amazing when it's new, but let's see how it holds up once the hype dies down. Oh, and before we dive in, let me clear something up. Insta360 did not send me this camera. I paid for it myself. They did not pay me to make this review. They did not even slide into my DMs. So what you're getting here is just pure unfiltered opinion. Okay, let's get into it. So let's just say that the Ace Pro is not your typical action camera. Now there are two things that really made me pay attention to this thing. One thing being the low light performance, and the second thing being the flip up screen. Now these two features alone sort of make me not want to call this an action camera. It's more like a Swiss Army knife of cameras that just happens to be great for action too. Starting off with the image quality, which I know most people are mostly interested in, it's pretty insane. I mean, hey, 8K resolution, right? And 48 megapixels. Okay, the truth about the 8K resolution, that yes, it's almost overkill. Even if you don't need 8K, the 4K 120 FPS is buttery smooth and perfect for slow motion shots that don't really compromise on clarity. But there are some kinks with that, which I'll get to. The second thing is the low light performance. It's pretty damn good. It's, I would say, almost borderline magical once you realize what a tiny sensor there is in here. Now, I've taken it out at night in dim indoor settings, and it still pulls in enough light to make the footage usable without turning it into a noisy mess. Just don't get your hopes up too much. It's not a full-frame camera. Now, it also has HDR mode, and it's another gem. It brings out the vibrant blues in the sky and keeps the shadows rich and make the whole scene really pop. It's sort of like what I like to call the let's pretend this footage is worth a damn mode. Photos are no slouch either. Like I said, 48 megapixels, give you plenty of room for large prints or for cropping. Now, I do want to mention a bit about the usability of this thing. The interface is as intuitive as it gets. It's super easy to navigate, even if you've never touched an action camera before. The menu is well organized and the touchscreen is responsive, so you won't be fumbling around trying to find what you need. I also want to mention time-lapse mode because that's another standout. It's stupidly easy to use and the results are actually pro level. Whether you're shooting a sunset, cityscape, or clouds, the Ace Pro handles it like a champ. It's like being in a marriage where the camera is the one actually putting in all the effort. Then there is image stabilization, and I've taken this thing everywhere, from handheld shooting to mounting it on my bike, and it smooths out even the bumpiest rides. Also, I want to mention battery life. It's pretty solid. It's got enough juice to last through a full day of shooting, and when it's time to recharge, the fast charging capability gets you back in the game pretty quickly. It's almost fast enough to make up for all the other things in life that took forever, like, getting through high school without a single girlfriend. But let's talk about my favorite feature, the flip out screen. The flip up, not flip out, flip up screen. It's one of those things you don't realize you need until you have it, whether I'm vlogging or I'm shooting from like a really weird angle. Or just trying to, frame the shot. The screen is an absolute game changer. It's like having eyes in the back of your head, minus the trauma of that one summer camp incident. Okay, this camera is super portable. I've had it in my backpack almost every day for the past 6 months. It's light, it's compact, and it's ready to capture whatever comes my way. It's like a best friend, but one that doesn't try to sleep with your wife. So that's a good thing. Now, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let's get into the downside. So first, we have to talk about the screen. It is great. Don't get me wrong. It is really great up until the time when you put on your sunglasses. The polarization effect makes it nearly impossible to see anything unless you sort of tilt your head in an awkward angle. It's kind of shame because the GoPro Hero 10, this is the GoPro Hero 10, it does not have that issue. And I'm guessing that the newer GoPros also don't have that issue. So it's kind of sad. Now, one thing I also feel I have to mention here, and this is a pretty big deal, it's the write speed. So after each shot, there is a 3-second delay before you can shoot again. And it's not the end of the world, but in fast-paced situations, those 3 seconds can cost you the shot. It's like asking someone a simple question and getting the answer 3 days later. But by then, you've already moved on and filed a missing person report, so yeah. Also, I want to talk about a bit of a bug here, and it's the blurry vignetting effect. So the center is super sharp in the middle, obviously, especially if you're shooting in 8K. But the edges, not so much. Once you notice it, you can't unsee it. It's like ordering a pizza and eating the crust. It's sad and a little bit pathetic. Okay, so there is another annoying part about the Ace Pro, and it's this thing. It's the micro SD hatch. Now, it's really cool because the card pops out easily, but why Insta360? Why did you share that compartment with the USB-C charging port? Because what it ultimately means is that you can't charge the camera and record at the same time, because the micro SD is, it's not inside the camera. And actually, maybe this is just a funny coincidence, but they did release an audio adapter, which technically is for, connecting an external microphone, but it actually solves this problem. It's just a weird coincidence, I think. Okay, now, for those who care about color grading, the lack of 10-bit log mode is a disappointing one, and it's only because you compare it to other action cameras that do have 10-bit log, so it's kind of sad. Now, don't get me wrong, you do get very decent color profiles, but without log mode, you're kind of limited in post-production. Also, I kind of hate the fact that this is an Ace Pro, it's kind of like selling a car with turbo in the name, but it tops out at 40 miles per hour. And lastly, I need to mention the 4K 120 FPS mode. It's not true 4K. I mean, it's good, but compared to standard 4K, it's not as sharp as it should be. And I know what 4K 120 FPS should look like. If you use a Sony ZV-E1, it looks really good. Okay, conclusion time. Despite its flaws, I still love the Ace Pro. After 6 months, I can honestly say that. It's packed with features that make it a joy to use, and for most situations, it performs exceptionally well. If the GoPro Hero 13 doesn't come with a flip screen, I'm sticking with the Ace Pro. It's earned a permanent spot in my gear bag. Kind of like that one toxic friend that you keep around because they're just so damn fun at parties. So that's my take after 6 months with the Insta360 Ace Pro. Thumbs up if you liked it, and see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.